And I've done it, and it paid off. I'm a living witness. I know what I'm talking about. You know, girls have no idea of the dangers out there that awaits them. I can take care of myself, but not knowing there are predators roaming around everywhere in every town looking for people just like them. You know, in the United States, everybody's got guns. Everybody. More than what we need. So you can see. If you are, you're not a child of God. You're not a Christian. You're a hypocrite. Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, a.k.a. Basketball Tall. Thank you for tuning in to this channel. First of all, let me thank all of my subscribers for following me on this journey, which has been a unique one for me, because in this social media world, I have never before, especially at my age, and I've recently retired last year, to be doing something like this, modern technology. But the thing is, I want to thank you because it's you that has gotten me to this point so far. You know, I've had a lot of this YouTube and other training and trying to learn how to do this. You know, a lot of our young population today, they're all on social media. You know, and the thing about it is, this YouTube phenomenon is unreal. And for those that are middle age, or even I would say in your 50s and above, we're kind of behind the times. And we're still catching up to what's really going on. The subscriptions to cable television are down because this type of platform now is up. And let me just tell you the strength of it. YouTube itself has about 2 billion, that's right, 2 billion subscribers worldwide. And the thing about that, that's powerful. And if you look at even more so, they're the second largest search engine in the world. 2 billion people search for matters on YouTube. Guess who's number one? Google. And Google owns YouTube. Talking about the power of media today, giving people like myself, including you, a platform to be able to speak about what's going on, or to educate, or to motivate, encourage, and to help so many people. Whatever you're looking for, you can Google it or you can YouTube it. And if you look for Basketball Tall, Robert Wilkins, you'll find me there, and it'll live forever. You know, just to tell you a little bit, people have asked me where the name Basketball Tall comes from. Well, I was in the elevator last year, and when I got on, this lady looked, she said, "Wow, you're basketball tall." And when she said that, I thought, wow, that's got a great catch to it. So ultimately, I made it a business. It is an LLC, okay? And so that's where the name Basketball Tall comes from, because a lady looked at me and said I was basketball tall. And I think you too would agree it has a great catch. But today, something happened today that opened my mind even more, and hopefully it would open your eyes more so as well. Now, I'm not the type of person that's, you know, support this issue or support that issue. I'm kind of neutral in a sense. I like to hear the other sides of the argument. That's just me. And I'm sure there are a lot of others out there like me as well. But we're living in some strange times. The year 2020 is definitely one for the history books. There's never been anything like it. We have a story to tell for generations to come. But my pastor said something, and he preached on, and I found it very interesting. And I thought, wow, you need to hear this too. Because a lot of us, you know, we go to church and we hear things, we read things, and sometimes we may have even covered it before, but it didn't resonate until that moment in time. And he talked about a scriptures that was in Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, the 18th and 19th verse. And I'm going to read it out to you out loud here. And it says, And this is in the New Living Translation. And it says, "But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun!" Exclamation mark. Do you see it? Question mark. "I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wastelands." And I said, that's Isaiah 43rd chapter, 18th and 19th verse. Isaiah is in the Old Testament, and he was a major prophet. As a matter of fact, he was, when I read Isaiah, I believe it was Isaiah 53, that really convicted me when it talked about the Messiah and everything that he was going to go through and all of that, and it depicted Jesus Christ to the T. And we're talking hundreds of years before Christ ever came on the scene in the flesh. So I'm not a preacher. I want everyone to know that. But I am a disciple of Christ. Now, what do I mean by that? If you consider yourself to be a Christian, and the majority of the United States do, you too are supposed to be a disciple. Basically saying you're supposed to be sharing the good news. The good news of Jesus Christ. Because we're talking about God here, guys. And but when he covered that, and I had to look at it several times. I looked at the King James, I looked at the NIV, and all of that. But the thing is, it says, but forget all that. Forget what, America? We're at a point in time that we've never experienced before. We brought up some old flames of the past that has stirred up something in this country. So it says here, but forget all that. This is the word of God to Isaiah. But forget all of that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. Wow. Do what in today's time? Because I felt like this was speaking to us today. Forget compared to what I am going to do. What is God going to do? First of all, God has already got our attention. More people are praying now, more so than we can recall in a very long time. Even though we know we are wearing masks now, we're social distancing now. Even when we're in church, we're still applying that inside our churches. More people are not in church today. They're at home for good reason because of the virus. And we have people want to argue about, oh, it's not that deadly. You know, now I'm not saying that. I'm just sharing with you the pulse of the nation right now. I've heard people say, well, we've got about 330 million people in this country, and less than 1% of people actually die from the virus. They're just scaring everybody. And then again, we have other people that have been succumbed to the virus and being sick and also actually died. Now, should we show some empathy for those people? Just because we're talking about the percentages of things, let's look at those that have actually affected. Should we be sympathetic to what people are going through? See, we can act a certain way till it hits our doorstep, till it invades our home, our families. So I think we need to show some empathy here, because even if it's just one person, many can say that's one too many. But then again, are you a Christian, America? But it says, but forget all of that. Come on, America. You know what we need to forget. You know. It is nothing compared to what I'm going to do. Because we know something is going to happen. It may be the cure for the virus. Who knows what it may be? It may bring us back together again as a nation. Because there is no country like the United States. We set the example for the rest of the world. We are a peaceful nation. We used to be. We were on that, let's say we were on that path to that. And we made tremendous progress. And now we're at this stage where everything's seems crazy and chaotic. But also it says, for I am about to do something new. I am about to do something new. This is God talking to Isaiah. I'm about to do something new. And it says here, see, telling us, it says, see, comma, I have already begun. See, I have already begun. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? That's a question mark. Do you not see it? Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. You know, the wilderness, let's just look at it. All the woods, the vine, the trees, everything, it's all entangled. And he's getting ready to make a pathway through it. If there's a pathway through something, meaning, hey, we can go through it. Then it also says right here, I will create rivers in the dry wastelands. Now we know when we talk about the desert, we look at the desert as a terrible place. Well, humans really can't thrive and survive without certain things we need, such as water and food and so forth. But we look at the desert as a place where you really don't want to be because it will take your life. But it says here, I would create rivers in the dry wastelands. River, life-sustaining force such as water, to flourish, to bring about growth and development. Water. Let me repeat this one more time. Isaiah 48, 18, 19. I'm not preaching, but I am a Christian. I do believe in God. And I think for those of you, my subscribers, and those that are not my subscribers, should hear this. But I forget all that. But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. For I'm about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wastelands. Come on, America. Let's get ready. If you call yourself a Christian, why aren't you showing it to your fellow man? By the love that you have for one another. The love you have for one another. When Christ, I forgot this lawyer tried to trick Jesus and asked him, which was the greatest of all the law? And of course, Jesus said to love your Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then he also said the seconds like it to it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Are you loving your neighbor? And we're not talking your next door neighbor. We're talking about mankind. Doesn't matter what race they are. Are you loving? Are you loving? And he started this, he's telling them for as the Christians, the people of the way, the newfound Christianity faith at that time, to love one another as yourself. That's how we can identify Christians. And if we're a Christian nation, we shouldn't have this divide, should we? Are you practicing what you read? Are you practicing what you preach? Are you practicing the Word of God? If not, you're a hypocrite. If not, you're a Satan worshiper. I hate to say it, but let's be real. Are you supporting lies? Are you supporting evil? Are you supporting anything that's destructive to another human being? If you are, you're not a child of God. You're not a Christian. You're a hypocrite. And I'm just telling you what the Word says. And I'm trying not to be. As you've noticed, I presented some interesting people on my channel. I've had someone say to me the other day, well, why are you always pointing out those people that you went to high school and college with? Hey, I'm a new channel. You have to start somewhere, right? Okay. So I know a lot of successful people that I went to high school and college with. And I know some other people that I didn't go to high school and college with. But the thing about it is, I want to bring those people to you. Why? Because for my former profession, all too often, kids never knew what they wanted to do with their life. So that's what I base my channel on. So people will know there are other people out there that may have come from the same type of dysfunctional families that they have, or may not have want anyone ever talk to them about achieving anything, or what do you want to do with your life, or sharing with them what it takes, or having an example for them to follow. So that's why I bring those people to you. Doesn't matter where you are in life, adults too, to let you know that you can do it too. But understand, it's not going to be magic, abracadabra, there it is. There's some things that you're going to have to work for to make it happen, but you can do it. Last week, I had a young lady sent me a messenger. I'm not going to say her name, but it was very interesting. And I'm going to read this to you because things like this, it goes along with my child. She says here, I'm not going to say her name, your former probationee. I am a graduate of OU in Langston. I am an LPC, and that's a licensed professional counselor, specializing in trauma, burnout, self-care, and wellness. I am also a consultant. I thank you for being hard on me in 1997. My children are adults finishing their way to success. My success, my light, could have been succumbed to the toxic environment I was growing up in, but a different path was set before me. I thank you for caring. I just had to share that with you. And that's the gratification I get from my previous profession, in which you, maybe in a small way, had an impact on someone's life, that it turned them around for the better. Because in my previous profession, it was about dealing with kids that commit crimes, that got arrested for various crimes. It didn't matter for stealing a small item to actually shooting and possibly killing someone. Also, kids that were out of control. And most of those usually ended up being girls that were out of control. They'll sneak out the house and go places and all of that. I got an interesting story I want to share with you. Kathy Spradlin, she's a former juvenile justice specialist, no longer with us now. She had a couple of girls in her caseload, and they were adjudicated delinquent, and they were on the run. They were AWOL. And, you know, about a couple of months later or so, she gets a call from Dallas PD, Dallas Police Department, and that they had these girls in their custody. And of course, we have to give them some identifying markers about the girls, like their tattoos that identified them, because they were lying. But the great thing about it was, those girls had no idea they were about to get shipped out of the country. You're talking about a blessing that was for those young teenage girls, because they were at a drug dealer's house, and they were getting ready to send them out of the country into sexual slavery. And of course, we got those girls extradited back to Oklahoma. So, you know, girls have no idea the dangers out there that awaits them. I can take care of myself, but not knowing there are predators roaming around everywhere in every town looking for people just like them. But anyhow, I'm glad that turned out. And now that they're older, I'm sure they have a different view of things now. So there you have it, America. The times we're in, and I just gave you something of great substance. You know, and I know different regions of the country, things are much harsher than they are in other places, but we're a mobile society today, where, you know, there was hatred and prejudices and so forth in one location, now pretty much all over the place, because people move. And, you know, we're such at a point where this party, that party. What about just the American party? What about God's party? You want to be happy? You want to be loved? You want peace? Because we can't afford any kind of domestic issues within our country today. This is not like the 1800s. This is 2020, almost 2021. And, you know, in the United States, everybody's got guns. Everybody. More than what we need. So you can see that's a losing cause to even think that way. But I love this country. I'm an American. I was born here. My mother was born here. My grandmother was born here. My great-great, they were born here. And I'm going to die here, just like you. Let's stop bickering. Let's stop arguing. Let's stop following bad examples. Think about it. In my former job, we developed what we called, many people know as treatment plans. We call it plan of action. And in that, you know, based on when we assess people, and then we formulate the plan of action to try and bring about a positive change, whether with the family, the kids, so forth. What kind of plan of action does this country need today when we look at it from a therapeutic or counseling point of view? What type of treatment plan do we need? I just read it to you. It's the beginning of something special. And I will close with this. But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Isaiah 43rd chapter, 18th to 19th verse. I want to thank you for joining me here today. If you like what I'm talking about, please press the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And that way you won't miss out any new programs that I post on my channel. And come go with me on this journey, and let's make America greater than it's ever been before. Because for me, this has been the greatest it's ever been. And I know for many of you too. Because there's opportunity here for everybody, all of us, if we're willing to pay the price and do what's required to get ahead in life. Stick with me, follow me, and I'm going to bring all that information to you and the people to you that can help you. You may say, well, what value is a person's story? Everything. There's value in every story. If someone tell me what I can do, if I believe or do this or that, and I've done it, and it paid off, I'm a living witness. I know what I'm talking about. And that's why I want to get that information to everybody out there who's willing to listen. I love you. God love you. And let's show it in return. Thank you.